Purpose, presence, proximity, partnership. For the last 50 years, International Division Inc. has revolutionized the poultry farming industry. With home offices in Springfield, Missouri, and regional offices, warehouses, agents, and distributors worldwide, INDIV is a leading export management company, providing services to customers no matter the location or how great the distance. Forrest Lipscomb Jr., founder and former president of International Division Inc., or INDIV, grew up in the grain and seed business. The early signs of what would become INDIV began revealing themselves in the years after Lipscomb returned from serving in World War II. At the time, Lipscomb was president of Lipscomb Grain and Seed Company and began receiving inquiries from the Caribbean for items uncommon or hard to come by in the region. Soon, Lipscomb found himself meeting orders for the West Indies, Latin America, Venezuela, and even into Hong Kong and the Middle East. In fact, Lipscomb was one of the first American businessmen approved to enter and conduct business with China after the country opened for trade in 1979.
Prior to 1964, Forrest had lived in Trinidad and Tobago, which is an island in the Caribbean, and actually started one of the first modern poultry integrations in Trinidad. And through that time, what happened was they would have steamships coming with grains and other things, and he would take equipment down to his operation in Trinidad. Well, other customers would start asking him to supply some of that equipment. And he would take advantage of a ship coming down anyway, and they began selling equipment. That's really how INDIV, or International Division Inc., was born.
INDIV was officially formed in July of 1964 and operated out of Lipscomb Grain and Seed Company until 1980, when it moved to downtown Springfield. The 1970s saw the beginning of what would become a staple of the INDIV cycle: growth and expansion into new markets, including the Caribbean, Central America, and into South America. With John Lipscomb serving as Executive Vice President and Jorge Andrade as Vice President, new sales offices were opened in Guatemala, Chile, and Panama as a result. During this time, INDIV's main line included small incubators, feed mill equipment, and other state-of-the-art products.
During this period of time, the equipment that we sold was smaller and pretty simple equipment. The technology really didn't evolve till later on. Back then, a chicken house was a very basic thing with manual feeding and watering and a few fans. And then you would sell smaller processing plants and even small-scale hatcheries.
Expansion continued in the 1980s. INDIV made its first move into diversification of services in the poultry division, animal health, and food equipment. The company's line likewise expanded. Hostetler prefabricated poultry houses became available through INDIV. Tunnel ventilation, which provides heat stress relief and contributes to animal comfort, came about later in the decade, along with nipple drinkers, which dramatically assist in disease reduction in terms of water distribution among the animals. Globally, the 1980s saw the opening of the Southeast Asia market, particularly Korea and Japan, which allowed INDIV to provide service breeder companies in that region, providing buildings and equipment. Sales also began in Egypt with INDIV partner Sami Salam. INDIV's growth progressed steadily through the 1990s. Sales offices were opened in Mexico, Colombia, and Argentina. With signs of the coming technology boom on the horizon, INDIV remained ahead of the curve, developing technical expertise and support that allowed the company to stand out among competitors. Technological growth spread to the poultry market, responding to climate changes as well as genetic changes in broilers. The market saw greater demand for cooling systems, as well as general automation of drinker and feeder systems for poultry.
In the 1990s, several things happened. One was the climate change, and also the change in the genetics of poultry were requiring more and more investment in tunnel ventilation, cooling systems, areas that were always used to being able to depend on natural ventilation, which is when they just open a curtain on the side of the house and the air would come through. They couldn't depend on it anymore because they were putting more chickens in the buildings. Also, the genetics of the chickens were changing. They were more susceptible to heat, so they were requiring a bigger investment in equipment.
The advancements INDIV continued to make in the market, as well as the leader's eye for innovation, helped propel the company through technological breakthroughs and into its new golden age.
One of our first experiences in manufacturing came in the early 2000s, in 2001, which was to make a small plastic piece which went with our drinker system. And that opened the doors to us beginning to expand to making a number of plastic products, our own design system, which really has helped the company grow over really from 2000 till now, with almost tripled our sales.
In 2001, INDIV opened a line of INDIV brand products and began manufacturing plastic products. The production of automatic pan feeders later grew into the production of the entire system. The company's development and production of plastic products, as well as its long track record of excellence and innovation, solidified its position as a major player in the poultry market. New projects lined up, including a large 40-building undertaking in Nicaragua for Cargill in 2004. In February 2005, Giordano Poultry Plast, an international division, together with INDIV's subsidiary in Mexico, began producing Piedmont coops for commercialization in Mexico and Central and South America. 2005 likewise saw the acquisition of the Polycoop brand and their plastic injection molds for INDIV, which allowed the forward-thinking company to begin producing an additional line of coops. These coops, designed to transport live chickens, have since been exported to most of Latin America and the Caribbean, and also the Philippines. Operations and offices on ground continue to grow through the decade, including expansion in Argentina and new offices in Penang, Malaysia, which has since moved to the capital city of Kuala Lumpur to be closer to customers and suppliers. From the beginning and throughout INDIV's expansion and milestones, the company was led by founder Forrest Lipscomb Jr. It was Lipscomb's intention to retire at age 90. Sadly, his retirement plans changed with the return of an aggressive form of throat cancer. Lipscomb sold the company to 8 employees in 2008, with his mentee Jose Sala, who joined INDIV in the 1980s, assuming the role as company president. Lipscomb passed away in February 2009. The loss of Forrest Lipscomb, as well as the 2008 financial crisis, coincided with a sales slowdown that lasted until March of 2009. The INDIV management team adopted the open book management practices of Jack Stack's The Great Game of Business. Starting small with the implementation of Great Game's financial forecasting, INDIV now uses all the principles and practices of Great Game of Business in the USA, Argentina, and Mexico offices, with plans to expand to Malaysia. The company rebounded with gusto in 2010 with the introduction of Max Plus feeder systems, which, with its ease of operations, food waste reduction, attention to animal health and hygiene, and other components, took the poultry market by storm. They were also able to open a new market in Russia, supplying equipment for poultry houses and a large poultry processing plant. Growth continued in 2012 with new INDIV openings in Colombia and Guatemala, which helped lead the charge into 2013. INDIV Argentina constructed new warehouses and offices, employed new people, and expanded product focus to include hogs alongside the existing poultry base. In 2013, Piedmont Coops began production in INDIV Asia and Argentina. Turbo Grow Feeders initiated production the same year in Argentina and Malaysia, and distribution for this line, as well as other products, was taken to the USA and Canada. Today, INDIV continues living up to the legacy Forrest Lipscomb created, one of innovation and progress. From its modest beginnings, INDIV has evolved into an international operation, one which has received two incredibly rare presidential recognitions, the E Award and the E Star Award.
On behalf of myself and the INDIV management team, I want to thank all our customers, our suppliers, and our employees for being such a big part of our success over the 50 years.
INDIV isn't slowing down anytime soon. New projects are underway right here in Missouri, with a 16,000 square foot logistics warehouse in Buffalo. Wherever technology takes the poultry farming industry, INDIV will be there, leading the way.